Up there. On air horn. Where your air horn. Where your air Up, buddy, pa 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 pa. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da. No. Ay, 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 ay. Magayaga higagag. Flegugigugig. My flegugigugers. My flegugol. I wanna sniff my flag. Sport. Let me just get some water, dude. Uh, uh, I need water. Handball cheese. Handball cheese. Yeah. What is up, Blort, my lord? Squirt, my goit. Jababang. I need to sit properly for this. Properly. Properly. Yeah, what up, dude? Huh? How's it going? More Iran shit? What? Why? You want to see this? What do you mean? You just, I don't know. I don't like, yeah. I'm getting real tired of these political commentators, dude. Doing some laundry. I should do some laundry too. That's not a bad idea. I should do some laundry. I just woke up and ate breakfast. Yeah, I don't even want to pay attention to it. I just don't care. I don't give a shit what happens in. I don't give a shit about Asmongold, Hustle, any YouTuber's opinion. I don't give a shit, dude. I don't give a shit about their opinion. I want to watch funny internet videos. I'm just sick of it. Da, 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 da. When the dead reach out. Oy vey, dude. You wanna watch it? I haven't seen it. Fuck it, let's watch it. I haven't seen it.
This episode of the Y-Files is brought to you by Factor. Gather round, because this happened. September 12, 2008. The 4:22 p.m. Metrolink.
I got a fucking Muslim beard now, I know this. Just straight up Muslim beard.
Stood in the aisle of the
I'm gonna become a Muslim.
He was 49 years old. He texted his fiancée,
you know?
That was the last message he ever sent.
Get some gray here, I can become Osama bin Laden.
I'd
be sick.
Union Pacific
I'm gonna become the new
both
Osama.
Traveling over 40 miles per hour. Combined impact speed, 82 miles per hour. Charles Peck died instantly.
Got these wild things going on in here.
12 hours later, his family sat in a living room watching news footage of the wreckage. Then Andrea's phone lit up on the table. The caller ID said Charles.
But how's that possible? He's dead. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know? How is it possible? You're supposed to be dead.
Breaking the rules. Put a sock in it, boy.
And
nigger, that's a lot of talking.
media. With sensor invention, people suspected they could serve another purpose. Nikola Tesla built a radio to reach the spirit world. Thomas Edison believed he could do the same. He called it a spirit phone, a device to bridge this world and the next. In 1920, Edison told Scientific American he'd been working on an apparatus to see if it is possible for personalities which have left this earth to communicate with us. He died in 1931 without completing it, or so his assistants claimed. But these calls do happen. In 1979, scientists published the first comprehensive study of phone calls from the dead. They documented over 100 cases. 72% occurred within 24 hours of death. 89% featured heavy static or poor connection quality. 94% described voices as distant, mechanical, or hollow. Average call duration, 6 to 15 seconds. The pattern was clear. The calls were real. But were they messages from beyond or something else? Sometimes the dead call to say goodbye. Sometimes they call with a warning. Dean Koontz is famous for writing horror novels, but his most terrifying story is one he lived. Koontz was in his home on a Tuesday afternoon in 1988, working alone in a quiet house. The phone rang, an unlisted number. He picked it up and heard that heavy rhythmic static crackling through the receiver. Then a woman's voice cut through the noise. It was faint, but distinct. It sounded exactly like his mother. But his mother had been dead for over a decade.
Imagine being
Koontz
phoned by your
He couldn't.
mother.
The voice didn't say hello. It didn't ask how he was doing.
Oh.
It said only one thing, repeated in a flat tone. Be careful, Dean. Be careful. It didn't sound like a recording. It sounded like a transmission from somewhere else. Then the line went dead. 2 days later, Koontz visited his father at a mental care facility. His father suffered from dementia. Koontz walked into the room, and his father looked at him, reached into a drawer, and pulled out a knife. The blade was 8 inches long and razor sharp. His father lunged and tried to stab him. Koontz caught his father's wrist, inches from his chest. His father was 73 years old, but fought like a man possessed. It took 3 orderlies to pull them apart. Koontz wrestled the knife away. He subdued his father without getting hurt. If he hadn't been on edge, if he hadn't been warned, he might not have reacted fast enough. His mother reached across whatever separates the living from the dead to save her son's life.
Yeah.
But Charles Peck wasn't calling to warn anyone.
She used the
He
dead
wasn't calling
phone.
to say goodbye. He was leading them somewhere.
Dude, how did she call, dude? Coons? Dude, Coons almost got stabbed. What a suck that Coon died, wouldn't it? You don't want Coons to die.
The Chatsworth crash was the deadliest train accident in California history. I lived in LA at the time, I remember it. The impact fused the trains together into a single mass of twisted steel. The fires burned for hours. Thick black smoke was visible for 20 miles. 2,500 gallons of diesel fuel leaked from ruptured tanks. The smell of burning plastic and diesel reached Northridge 6 miles away. Andrea was at the station waiting for Charles when the news broke. She drove to the crash site, but the police held her back. She joined his parents, his brother, his sister, and his stepmother in a waiting area. They sat in that room for hours, terrified, waiting for the survivor list. Then they were waiting for the list of the dead. And then, in the middle of that silence, Andrea's phone rang. She looked at the screen. Charles. The room went still. She grabbed the phone with shaking hands and pressed answer. Charles? Baby? Are you there? She expected a voice, a cry for help, anything. She got static. That low, rhythmic hum, like wind blowing through a long tunnel, or someone trying to breathe through damaged lungs. The call lasted 6 seconds, then it dropped. The family stared at each other. Pocket dial? Glitch? Well, 5 minutes later, it happened again. This time, his son's phone rang. Caller ID? Dad. He answered. Dad, where are you? Static. Heavy, hollow silence. Then the line went dead. Then his brother's phone rang. Then his stepmother's. For the next 11 hours, his phone launched a desperate campaign. It called everyone he loved, his fiancée, his parents, his siblings, his children. 35 separate calls. Each time they answered. Each time they screamed into the receiver begging him to speak, begging him to tell them where he was. And each time they got that strange, hollow static. To the family, this meant one thing. Charles was alive. He survived the crash. He was trapped in the wreckage, maybe pinned, maybe injured too badly to speak, but he was conscious. He was holding his phone. He was pressing send. He was telling them he was still there. The family ran to the police station and shoved their phones in the officers' faces. He's calling us. Look, he's calling right now. This changed the entire operation. Before the calls, firefighters worked in recovery mode. They assumed everyone in the front car was dead. They moved carefully, treating the wreckage as a crime scene. But if a survivor was calling out, this was now a rescue mission. The fire chief sent 250 firefighters to the site. 50 paramedics stood by. They brought cutting equipment, jacks, cranes. Over 100 tons of steel had to be moved
remember
piece
this
by piece
crash?
without causing further collapse. Police contacted Verizon and traced the signal. Every call came from Peck's phone. Every ping came from the same location. The phone was broadcasting from the epicenter of the disaster, the lead passenger car, crushed to half its original size. The firefighters went back in. The work was dangerous. Wreckage twisted under immense pressure, fires still smoldering, air thick with smoke and the stench of burning plastic and diesel. But they had a target now. They cut through steel. They lifted heavy debris. Every time the phone rang, they got a fresh ping. The signal guided them through tons of twisted metal. 35 calls, 35 pings. The rescue team worked through the night, exhausted, running on adrenaline and hope. At 3:28 a.m., 12 hours after the crash, the call stopped. Maybe the phone battery died, or maybe Charles had lost consciousness. But it didn't matter. They had his location. 1 hour later, just before dawn, they broke through the final layer.
Look at that apparatus,
They aimed
dude.
the flashlights into the crushed car.
AI
The beam hit a
drill
man in a
bit.
seat. It was Charles. He didn't look injured. Unconscious, maybe. For a second, they thought they pulled off a miracle. They didn't. The rescue team rushed to him. Charles was still strapped into his seat, not pinned by machinery, not trapped under rubble. He didn't look injured. A firefighter reached out and checked for a pulse. Charles' skin was cold. Charles Peck was dead, and had been for a while. The injuries were catastrophic. Crushed thoracic cavity, severed spine, massive internal bleeding. His heart stopped instantly when the trains collided. The crash occurred at 4:22 p.m. Charles Peck died at 4:22 p.m. According to the medical examiner, brain function ceased the moment of impact. No suffering, no waiting for rescue, instantaneous death. He was dead 12 hours before they found him. He was dead before the first call to Andrea. He was dead for the call to his son, the call to his brother, the call to his stepmother. Dead for every single one of the calls that guided the rescue team through the wreck. The comfortable explanation is technical glitch. Maybe the impact short-circuited the phone. Maybe damaged wiring was causing it to randomly dial contacts from his favorites list over and over for 11 hours. But there's a problem with that theory. When firefighters found Charles, they wanted to secure his personal effects, especially the phone that guided the entire rescue operation. They checked his pockets. Empty.
No, it's no
They checked the floor around his
phone.
seat, the seat pockets, the debris within arm's reach. No phone. They expanded the search, sifting through
It was
wreckage in
the
every direction.
spirit
They checked
phone
under
that
seats
called.
and overhead compartments, beneath debris.
The
No phone. They
spirit
swept the area with
phone.
metal detectors. They photographed every piece of wreckage before moving it. Standard protocol for securing evidence. They found his wallet. They found his keys. They never found the phone. The device that made 35 calls over 11 hours. The device that pinged cell towers and transmitted a signal strong enough to guide a rescue team through the wreckage was gone. It wasn't in his hand. It wasn't in his pocket. It wasn't anywhere in the car. The
Cheers,
signal
dude.
came from his seat, but the source didn't exist. Charles Peck died instantly. He didn't have a pulse, no brain activity, no phone. Yet for 11 hours, he reached out. He called the woman he was going to marry. He called the children he was leaving behind. He called everyone who loved him over and over until they found his body. And once they did, he hung up. We want to believe that when we die, we leave this world completely. But stories like this make you wonder if the connection is ever fully severed. Maybe in the static between stations, a signal can still get through.
The ghost phone. Hey. I bet he used
Before you go to sleep, check
his spirit phone.
Make sure it's charged. Make sure the volume is on. Because if it rings in the middle of the night and the caller ID shows a name you haven't seen in years, don't be afraid. Answer it. They might need your help. Or you might need theirs.
Who's gonna call me, dude? Huh? I'd be pissed if my dad called me. What do you want?
Gather round, because this happened. Abilene, Texas, January 1996. Brian Bethel sat in his car outside an empty theater parking lot. He was writing a check to pay his internet bill. He stopped under the marquee to use the light. Then a rhythmic tapping on his window. Two boys stood outside, hoodies pulled low, faces hidden. Brian rolled down the window just a crack. The boy in the green hoodie stepped forward. That's when Brian saw his eyes.
You children of the corn, dude. Now I have children of the porn.
Brian Bethel was a reporter, 20 years at the paper, Crime Beat. He'd interviewed murderers, documented accident scenes, covered trauma that sent other reporters to therapy. He was running an errand, nothing unusual about it. But sitting in that parking lot, he gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles went white. His heart slammed against his chest. Every instinct said run. His brain didn't understand why. Not yet. The noise of the city faded away, and traffic went silent, and the wind died. Even the electrical hum of the parking lot lights stopped. The silence was absolute. Brian's ears popped, like a change in pressure, like an airplane descending, but it was instant. The hair on his arms stood straight up, and his ears popped again. Then the parking lot lights buzzing came back, and the traffic returned, but that uneasy feeling remained. Brian looked at the boys outside his window. They looked normal enough, maybe 10 or 12 years old. One was slightly taller. They had pale skin, red hair, nothing remarkable. They stood completely still. No fidgeting, no shifting weight. This is not the way kids naturally move. They stood like statues, patient and motionless. The taller boy smiled, but it was a performance. Friendliness that didn't match the stillness, the patience, the way the boys watched him.
Hey, mister, we have a problem.
That voice was wrong. Smooth and well-spoken, but didn't sound like a child's voice. It sounded like an adult imitating a child, hitting the right notes, but not quite authentic. The boy gestured toward the theater.
We want to see the movie, but we left our money at home. Could you give us a ride to my house to get the cash? It's not far.
Brian's thoughts felt slow, heavy, like he was moving underwater, but his hand moved toward the door handle without his permission. He watched his own fingers reaching for it. He tried to fight it, tried to tell himself these were just kids who needed help. He forced himself to look directly at the boy, trying to break whatever spell had taken hold. The boy tilted his head, and light from the marquee cut across his face. No reflection, no life. Then Brian saw. The boy had no eyes.
Children of the corn, dude. Ooh, corn. Corn kids.
Brian couldn't breathe. His hands were shaking. Adrenaline flooded his system. Every
Oh
cell in his
shit,
body
nigga,
screamed
it's
the
the
same
cone,
message.
niggas.
Run.
Get the fuck
The
out
boy
of
had
here,
no
man.
eyes, not damaged eyes, not clouded eyes, voids. The entire visible surface of each eye was solid black,
Aliens,
edge-to-edge
dude. They're
darkness.
aliens.
Then the trance
The
broke,
big
and
alien
panic
eyes, you
flooded in.
know.
His hand froze on the door lock, then snatched back like he touched a hot stove. The change in the boys was
What's
immediate.
sweaty,
The polite
dude?
act dropped. The taller boy's
Knees,
expression
arms, spaghetti.
shifted to cold fury, a
Mom's
fury that
spaghetti.
wasn't human. He didn't scream or pound on the glass. He just stared with those impossible
What
black
day
eyes.
is it today?
An itch formed in Brian's skull, fresh of building. The taller boy's voice
Saturday,
was so
right?
so
Saturday? Today
Just
is
need to get to our mother's
Saturday.
house. It
I'm
won't
too
take long.
stoned. Oh, it's
Brian's fingers touched the
Saturday.
lock again. He didn't decide
Saturday.
to do it, his hand just moved.
I gotta take
The
my
kid didn't sound
medicine,
like a kid
dude.
anymore. His voice dropped. It sounded cold.
Oh, so
it
much
sounded
medicine.
dead.
We can't come in unless you invite us. Let us in. We don't have a gun.
Brian hadn't mentioned guns, hadn't thought about guns. If the boy was trying to reassure him, he just made it worse. Then Brian thought about what the kid just said. They needed permission. He couldn't just open the door himself, like some rule prevented it.
We can't come in unless you tell us we can.
It was
What
almost like the boy's voice
vampires?
was coming from inside Brian's brain. He looked down. His hand was an inch from the lock. He had to get out of here. Brian slammed his foot on the gas. The tires squealed. He spun the wheel and tore out of the parking lot. He checked the mirror. The street behind him was empty. The parking lot was empty. The boys were gone. Not walking away, not running, just gone. Brian drove home fast. He ran into his
How do you
house,
like my new
threw the
song?
deadbolt, checked every window.
This is
he
my
turned on
hip-hop
every
cover.
light and sat in his living room holding a kitchen knife until the
This
sun came up.
my
The
new
next day, he did what
uh
any journalist would do. He wrote down everything that happened. Then he
shut up. Listen, this is my new rap album cover. It's called Slormit's Life. And my rap name is L Train, okay? Cause I'm Loris and I like trains. So like L Train, and this is my rap cover, Slorvich Life. Screen cap this shit and send it to me. Yo, it's Slorvich Life coming at you from the 504. No, you know? Yeah, buddy. Suck my dick, you know?
published the account online. He titled it simply
It felt
BEK,
good saying that. I
Black-Eyed Kids.
had to get it
Within
out.
hours, the email started. A cop
Emails?
with 20 years on the force. A nurse,
Emails?
a software engineer.
This chair is really
all
dumb.
with the same story.
Everything's
Two
really-
children,
I don't know,
black
man.
eyes, that polite request. And every email said, I've never been that scared in my entire life.
Yeah. Slormit's Life. From the motherfucking streets of Compton. I got all the
The
Compton.
emails came from everywhere, different states, different witnesses, but the same story. The details matched too perfectly to be a coincidence. Always at night, always a knock or a tap to announce their presence, always a mundane request, a phone call, directions, a ride home, and always that wall of silence, the sudden drop in temperature, the overwhelming sense that a predator is nearby.
Predator?
1998.
The-
A software engineer leaving downtown late at night. 3 kids on a street corner. 2 boys, 1 girl. They tried to guilt him. One said, "You promised you'd help us." He'd never seen them before.
Police
As his car
officer.
passed, he saw
Children
their
in
eyes on the
hospital.
streetlight.
Yeah, they're
Solid
aliens.
black. Different
Aliens,
state,
dude.
different witness, same
Aliens.
eyes.
Aliens.
Reports kept coming. Over 1,200
It's
documented accounts. 47
interdimensional, you
countries.
know.
Same eyes, same silence.
Certain aliens, like they're like spiritual ones. This is the ones. They're like aliens that like they're the ones we can grasp and understand, and then there's the ones that are like we don't have the natural perception to actually they're interdimensional. We don't have the natural perception to without like them wanting to see us, you know, like that. And this is not me being like weird. This is true, dude. This is true. Not true as in I necessarily believe it, but that's where that's where it's from. No, it's not like some shit that I just made up now. Is what I'm saying. Like I don't of course believe in like ooga boogas because I never experienced anything paranormal, but that's where it's coming from, you know.
Same requests.
They're
But there was
aliens.
one strange pattern repeated across every account, every country, every year. 100% of documented
Yeah, they always have to be invited. They can't. That's what she's gonna say. He's gonna say that they always have to be invited.
cases show the same limitation. They cannot enter without permission.
See
They
what I'm
can't get into
saying?
your car unless you unlock the door.
Yeah.
They can't cross your threshold unless you invite them. They're bound by some ancient law that even they can't break. So they manipulate, they beg, they weaponize guilt.
It's freezing out here, mister.
We're just kids. Why are you scared of us?
Please. Our mom will be so worried.
They use human empathy as a weapon. We're programmed to help children. Evolution wired us that way. They know exactly which buttons to push. But here's what keeps researchers up at night. We have hundreds of accounts from people who refused, people who listened to their instincts, who drove away, who kept the door locked.
But never one that
We have
they
zero
did.
first-hand accounts
Yeah.
from anyone who let them in.
Yeah, that's
No
what I'm
blog post describing
Yeah.
what happened next.
Yeah.
No police reports filed the following morning.
Yeah.
No social media updates.
That's
The
what's so
people
weird
who
about
open
it.
the door don't tell their stories.
Exactly.
Brian Bethel still lives in Abilene. He still works as
That's this is one of them like urban myths. That's what I believe. It's like one of them global. Cause why have I heard of this? Do you know what I'm saying? I haven't seen this video, but why do I know about this lore? You know, these everyone's heard this story before. You know, it's an urban myth. That's what I believe. It's just like an urban myth, and it just like happened to stick around in folklore. And I don't think like some purpose, some like these, like, you know what I'm saying?
a journalist. In 2013, a reporter asked if he still thinks about that night.
I've covered murders, accidents, all kinds of trauma.
I bet this person doesn't exist in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing
It's just like a person that someone said
compares
once.
to
Blah blah
that
blah blah
level
blah.
of fear.
Not that long ago, he found 2 small handprints on his car window. That's scary enough. But what really bothers Brian, the handprints were on the inside. Gather round, because this happened. Charleston, South Carolina, 1995. Sonny Graham lay in a hospital bed. His heart was enlarged and failing. Doctors gave him weeks to live. 200 miles away, a man named Terry Cottle put a gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Terry's heart was strong. Doctors rushed it to Charleston and transplanted it into Sonny's chest. Sonny woke up with a new pulse, feeling stronger than he had in years. But Sonny inherited more from Terry than just his heart. A lot more.
Oh boy, what is this human? His person I was stuck in his heart and become, dude. These are like some good ass horror movie cliches, dude.
Sonny Graham was a popular guy at Hilton Head. As manager of the central plant,
I
he
think
knew just
all
about
these are
everyone
just
on the
urban
barrier
myths.
island.
You know what I'm saying?
His cooking was legendary at fundraisers and community events. The local high school football field was named in his honor. He and his wife were married 38 years, 2 children. In 1994, a virus attacked Sonny's heart muscle. The damage was severe. By 1995, Sonny was 56 years old and dying. His name went on 2 transplant lists. He waited, and his heart kept failing. One evening, Sonny got the call. A heart had become available. Terry Cottle's heart, close to a perfect match. Terry Cottle spent 4 days on life support. A .22 caliber slug entered his skull just behind his right ear. He was 33 years old. That day, his wife Cheryl agreed to take him off life support. His organs could save lives. The surgery went well. Within 6 months, Sonny was strong enough to go on a fishing trip to Alaska. But something was different. Sonny had always hated hot dogs. The smell, the taste, everything about him. Now he ate them every day, sometimes 2 or 3. He developed a taste for beer and heavy metal music. He never cared about beer and metal before. His wife started seeing changes. Sonny's handwriting looked different. He walked differently. He laughed differently. She said he seemed like a different person. His friends noticed too, friends that he had for 40 years or more. But Sonny felt something else, something he couldn't explain to anyone. He felt a pull toward the donor's family. He needed to thank them, to meet them, to understand who had given him this second chance. In late 1996, he wrote the donor's widow. Her name was Cheryl Cottle. She agreed to meet him. They met at a restaurant in Charleston in January 1997. The moment Sonny saw her, his chest tightened. He felt a physical jolt, a sudden acceleration that didn't feel like attraction or nerves. It felt like recognition. His heart beat faster when she smiled. It slammed against his ribs when she spoke.
Dude.
He felt a rush
I
of
want
emotion
more
that
weed,
didn't belong to him.
but I smoked
love,
it.
Guilt, and a desperate
Damn it,
need
dude,
to
weed is
protect
so
this woman.
powerful.
Cheryl felt it too.
You know what I'm saying?
Sonny
Damn
was
it.
like seeing Terry again.
So
Cheryl was only 30 years old.
I just want to
She
smoke
looked at
weed
this
now.
older man
That's all I
with gray
wanna do.
hair and weathered hands, but she felt her dead husband's presence. She felt him looking through Sonny's eyes. Sonny went home to his wife that night, but he couldn't stop thinking about Cheryl. He called her. They talked for hours. He visited her. He felt compelled to take care of her in ways he couldn't explain. Soon, Sonny's marriage fell apart. His wife couldn't compete with a ghost. That April, Cheryl married another man. Sonny gave away the bride, standing in for her late father. Sonny watched her walk towards someone else, but it was Terry's heart pounding in his chest. That marriage didn't last either. Both couples fell apart under the weight of what neither could explain, the pull between Sonny and Cheryl that defied reason. Cheryl married Sonny in December 2004. Two different men, same heart, and that heart was bringing her husband back.
What? That's a stupid story.
For a while, things felt right. Sonny felt younger, he had a new wife, a new heart, a new beginning. Then the depression started. Terry Cottle hadn't just died, he'd killed himself. He was a man who struggled with depression he couldn't escape. He put a gun to his head because the weight of living became unbearable. And now something dark lived inside Sonny. His personality shifted. Friends who'd known him for decades said they didn't recognize him anymore. The gentle, kind man who was the first to do a friend a favor, that man was disappearing. And Sonny talked about feeling trapped, about living someone else's life, about thoughts that didn't feel like his own. Sonny became moody and withdrawn. He grew possessive, jealous in ways he'd never been. He accused Cheryl of seeing other men. He followed her car. He checked her phone. Then the fight started. The relationship turned toxic. Sonny felt trapped in a life he didn't recognize. He said he didn't feel like himself anymore. He felt like a passenger in his own body, watching someone else make decisions. In 2007, Sonny drew up a will. He asked his nephew to be the executor. He organized his finances, paid off debts, settled accounts. People noticed. They asked if he was okay. Sonny said he was fine, just getting things in order. The beer, the hot dogs, the instant love for Cheryl, his handwriting changed to match Terry's looser, more careless style. These weren't coincidences. These were Terry's preferences, Terry's traits, Terry's life. Sonny walked a path already walked. He followed footprints that weren't his own. The years passed. Whatever joy Sonny found in his second chance evaporated. Instead, Sonny had a sense of impending doom. He was living Terry Cottle's life, and he knew how that life ended.
So he was schizophrenic? I mean, isn't that what that is? You know? Or like whatever. Some sort of OCD personality disorder. You know?
April 1st, 2008. 12 years, 12 days after the transplant. Neighbors in Vidalia, Georgia were jolted awake by the sound of a shotgun blast. That morning, Sonny Graham drank his coffee and told Cheryl he was taking his 9-year-old stepson to the dentist, then off to work. A normal day. But Sonny made a detour to his backyard shed. There, the 69-year-old picked up the 12-gauge shotgun he'd taken on countless hunting trips. He pointed the muzzle at the right side of his throat, just like Terry did all those years ago. Then Sonny pulled the trigger. It was April 1st, almost exactly 13 years since another man's suicide gave Sonny Graham a second chance at life. Different weapon, same method, same location. Sonny Graham died instantly. He left Cheryl a widow for the second time. 2 husbands lost, both to self-inflicted gunshots to the head. 2 men, 1 heart, same fate. The story spread across the world. Reporters wrote about cellular memory and whether organs could hold a suicide gene. The internet lit up with theories. Scientists documented this phenomenon for decades. Personality changes following heart transplantation. 4 categories: changes in preferences, alterations in emotions and temperament, modifications of identity, and memories from the donor's life. The heart contains about 40,000 neurons, a network that operates independently of the brain. A heart brain that communicates bidirectionally with the brain and other organs. Researchers documented this cardiac nervous system in the early 1990s. Some theorized that cellular memory could transfer personality characteristics from donor to recipient. Studies of 73 heart transplant patients showed 89% reported personality changes after receiving their organ. And not subtle shifts, fundamental alterations in who they were. Claire Sylvia received a heart-lung transplant from an 18-year-old male motorcyclist. She suddenly craved beer and chicken nuggets, food she later learned were her donor's favorites. She dreamed about a man named Tim L. Her donor's name was Tim. A woman received a heart from a police officer killed in the line of duty. She started seeing flashes of light in her eyes, feeling burning sensations on her cheeks. She later learned the officer was shot in the face. A 5-year-old boy received the heart of a 3-year-old named Tim. The recipient had never been told the donor's name. He called his donor Timmy. He said Timmy got hurt when he fell down and likes Power Rangers. Well, Tim fell from a window ledge reaching for a Power Ranger toy. The theories exist. The documentation exists. The
Well,
cases stack up. One
that's
after
interesting.
another. People receiving organs and receiving something else. Preferences, memories, traits that aren't even their own. But theories don't explain the weight of it, the lived experience of looking in the mirror and not recognizing yourself, of loving someone you've never met, of walking toward a shed
But
with
is
a
this
shotgun because something inside you, something that isn't you, knows exactly what to do.
It's a cool theory. I like
Sonny
that.
Graham's heart remembered what his brain never knew. It remembered Terry's widow. It remembered Terry's pain. And when the time came, it remembered Terry's choice to end it all. Thank you so much for hanging out today. My name is AJ. This is the Y-Files, and that was a campfire story. No debunking, no analysis. 24/7. Check out our 24/7. I'm plowing through the plugs. Speaking of 20.
No, I had a stomach brain. My stomach brain is fucking retarded, dude. You know what I'm saying? Scabbity dee bop 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 bop. Scabbity beep 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 beep. Scotty beep. I got a Scotty beep. I got a Scotty beep. ScottyBip.com, brought to you by Stevenson's Magical Cigars. Go to Stevensons.com for all your cigars needs. And most terrifying things found in space.
Alright, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
10. Zombie stars. In the cosmos, stars are expected to follow certain immutable laws. A massive star burns through its fuel, explodes as a supernova, and ceases to exist. Or so astronomers thought until they encountered something that defies these fundamental rules of stellar physics. Stars that have survived their own deaths. These zombie stars, officially known as Type IAC.
This reminds me of Star Wars, you know. No, young. You know what I'm saying? Like he does this weird shit with he doesn't do like this, you know, like Power, you know, like he does like all like decrepit weird how like, you know, like now young Skywalker, you will die. You know what I'm saying? No, only in death do you realize your folly, young Skywalker. Dude, what a fucking sick character. It seems, Lord Vader, in your anger, you killed. You know? Oh.
Supernovae remnants were first confirmed in 2013 when astronomers observed SN 2012Z in the NGC 1309 galaxy. Unlike typical Type Ia supernovae that completely obliterate their progenitor white dwarfs, these partial explosions somehow leave behind a surviving stellar core, a cosmic impossibility according to our previous understanding of stellar evolution. What makes zombie stars particularly unsettling is that they've experienced what should have been a terminal cosmic event. The star undergoes a thermonuclear explosion,
sure it's not the
powerful
brain,
enough to
just
outshine
I
entire
don't know.
galaxies. Yet somehow a portion of the star stubbornly remains intact, continuing to shine as if defying death itself. The leading theory suggests that during the supernova, the explosion becomes asymmetrical, ejecting matter violently in one direction while leaving part of the star intact. This partial supernova creates a bizarre stellar remnant, scarred, transformed, but still functionally a star. Perhaps most disturbing is that these cosmic undead aren't rare anomalies. Astronomers now believe up to 30% of what we classified as Type Ia supernovae may actually be these partial explosions with surviving stars. The implications are profound, forcing scientists to reconsider our most fundamental understanding of stellar death. Our own sun will eventually become a white dwarf. Could it too someday experience a partial explosion, becoming one of these cosmic revenants? And what does it mean for our understanding of the universe if one of its most basic processes, stellar death, can be circumvented? The universe, it seems, has found a way to cheat even the most fundamental forms of cosmic mortality. Number 9. Galactic cannibalism. Our Milky Way galaxy has a violent secret. It is a cosmic predator, actively consuming smaller galaxies that venture too close to its gravitational pull. This process, known as galactic cannibalism, isn't just ancient history. It's happening right now as our galaxy tears apart and devours
I knew this one.
Sagittarius dwarf spheroidal galaxy. The evidence of our galaxy's predatory past is written across the night sky. Long stellar streams, like the Helmi Stream and the Virgo stellar stream, are the digestive remains of galaxies consumed hundreds of millions of years ago. Astronomers can identify stars that weren't born in our galaxy by their distinct chemical compositions and orbital patterns. They are immigrants from cosmic bodies that no longer exist. Most chilling is the implication for potential extraterrestrial civilization.
How do we know this?
Isn't that just crazy? In these consumed galaxies, their stellar remnants are now passing through our cosmic neighborhood. Calculations suggest that stars from the Sagittarius dwarf could be within just 50,000 light years of our solar system. If any of these stars hosted advanced civilizations, the remnants of their technological achievements, or even their interstellar probes, could be silently drifting through our galaxy. The Milky Way's cannibalistic appetite will continue. In approximately 4.5 billion years, it will collide with the Andromeda galaxy, creating a massive elliptical galaxy. During this collision, star systems will be flung into intergalactic space, or crushed together in cosmic pileups. What makes galactic cannibalism particularly unsettling?
What if that's how planets get seeded, dude? By galaxies colliding, and then they shoot around so fast, and then and then they get seeded. Like, that's how life. How crazy would that be?
Is the complete erasure it represents. Entire cosmic ecosystems with billions of stars, potentially millions of inhabited worlds, all consumed and digested until they lose their original identity. Our own galaxy, the cradle of humanity, is built from the corpses of countless others, and someday the atoms that make up our bodies may become part of a larger, more dominant cosmic structure that bears no resemblance to the spiral galaxy we call home. Number 8. Rogue black holes. In the vast darkness between the stars lurk cosmic nomads with the power to tear apart anything that crosses their path. These are rogue black holes, stellar corpses.
I always found black holes so fascinating, dude. It's like one of those things,
like their stationary cousins.
They're so weird. What? Like, I want to know.
Gravitational monsters travel at astonishing speeds, some exceeding 1.5 million kilometers per hour. The existence of these wanderers was confirmed in 2022 when astronomers detected a rogue black hole in the Milky Way using gravitational microlensing. As it crossed in front of a distant star, the black hole's gravity briefly bent and magnified the starlight, revealing its presence despite its invisibility. What made this discovery particularly unsettling is that it was found by chance, suggesting countless others remain undetected. What creates these cosmic outcasts? When massive stars collapse and explode asymmetrically, the resulting black hole can receive a natal kick, an impulse so powerful it exceeds the gravitational binding force of its host galaxy. Once ejected, the black hole becomes a silent predator, detectable only when actively consuming matter.
So weird,
the rare
dude.
gravitational
We're just
that betray its
dumb
position.
humans on a
Astronomers
planet.
Estimate up to 100 million rogue
and
black
these
holes may be
things
silently
exist.
drifting through our galaxy alone.
You
Their
know?
trajectories are essentially unpredictable,
it's
making
like,
them
what?
cosmic wildcards capable of disrupting.
Why do I have to pay taxes when there are black holes around, dude? It's so, you know what I'm saying? It's like I live in this microscopic, pathetic retarded dumb life. And then there's a black hole. You know, the most. I mean, what's more mighty? Like, imagine like the gravity, the scale of it. Like, dude, like big black hole sucks life and like, dude, dude, that thing exists, and then me. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's stupid.
Any stellar system they approach. A rogue black hole entering our solar system would not need to hit Earth directly to cause catastrophe. Merely passing through the outer solar system could destabilize planetary orbits and send comets and asteroids toward the inner planets. Perhaps most disturbing is their near-perfect invisibility. Unlike stars or galaxies, a solitary black hole emits no light whatsoever. We would have virtually no warning if one was approaching our solar system until it began to gravitationally influence our planetary orbits. How many of these invisible predators are already moving through our galactic neighborhood, and how close is the nearest one to our fragile planetary home? Number 7. Solar superflares. Our sun, the steady life-giving star at the center of our solar system, harbors a destructive capability far beyond what most people realize. In 2012, scientists analyzing tree rings discovered the evidence that around 774 CE, Earth was struck by a solar event at least 20 times more powerful than any flare recorded in the modern era. This wasn't an isolated incident. Further research uncovered similar events occurring roughly once every 1,000 years. These solar superflares...
I'm not scared about the superflares.
...of megaton hydrogen bombs detonating simultaneously. The radiation from such an event would be powerful enough to strip away portions of our atmosphere, while the electromagnetic pulse would destroy every electronic device and power grid on the planet's facing side. Satellites would be rendered useless, and astronauts in space would receive lethal radiation doses within minutes. What makes solar superflares particularly alarming is that our technological civilization has never experienced one. In 2012, we had a narrow miss when a coronal mass ejection, comparable to the infamous 1859 Carrington event, which set telegraph papers on fire and allowed operators to send messages with their equipment unplugged, passed through Earth's orbit just 1 week after our planet had been in that position. Based on stellar observations, astronomers now understand that stars like our sun can produce flares up to 10,000 times more powerful than anything we've witnessed in the modern era. Analysis of ice cores and tree rings suggests that Earth gets hit by moderately extreme solar events every century or two, while truly catastrophic superflares occur roughly every millennium. The most unsettling aspect isn't just the damage such an event would cause, but our complete inability to prevent it. Our technological civilization, with all its apparent robustness, exists at the mercy of stellar physics we barely understand and cannot control. The next civilization-altering flare could begin its journey from the sun's surface at any moment, giving us mere hours to prepare for a return to a pre-electrical age. Number 6. The Boötes Void. In 1981, astronomer Robert Kirshner was mapping distant galaxies when he
Yeah, but we still have the technology to do it again. Like we know how to build. You know, still know how to build. like this.
discovered something that
it's
defies
fine.
explanation. An almost perfectly spherical region.
It's not like we
nearly
become
330
dumb Stone
million
Age
light
people.
years in diameter, containing virtually nothing at all. This region, known as the Boötes Void or the Great Nothing, is so vast that it would take 330 million light years to cross from one side to the other. Within this colossal emptiness, astronomers have found fewer than 60.
I'm gonna go play some Overwatch with my buddy. He just invited me, so I'm gonna do that. You wanna talk? I'm probably not gonna play long. I'll message you.